Okay, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to Christian Sports Bike Fellowship's February ride. So today we're going to be riding up to Redwood Road, and I just want to say, it's been amazing to see, how much this group has grown over the past year. So, thank you all for coming, and we have a lot more exciting rides and events planned this year. So please look forward to that. And as you can see here, this is last month's ride. We went to Stinson Beach with the group, and so let's move on. So we're going over a 7-part series. So Colin went over intimacy last month. Today I'll be going over Betrayal, and we have other exciting topics coming up. So, Betrayal. The definition, according to the internet, is the breaking or violation of presumptive contract, trust, or confidence that produces moral and psychological conflict in a relationship. So it's a lot. So basically, betrayal is like when there's like trust between two people, right? And then somebody messes up and they like knowingly and willfully betray the other person, right? So, like say a random stranger, they can't betray you because they don't know you, right? There was never any trust to begin with, right? So, these are people that you know, and common examples today is like cheating within a relationship, or your best friend, starting rumors, or revealing your deepest and darkest secrets, right? Or back in college when you're like the deadline for your final essay is due in an hour and your computer freezes. It's the ultimate betrayal of technology, right? So I think when I think of betrayal, I think back to like one of the earliest memories of betrayal for me, and for some reason it just kind of sticks out. Maybe there's some trauma associated with it, but it happened in like 3rd grade, and I had this friend. His name was Glee. I think I say his name. It's like 20 years have passed. But Glee was my friend, and he didn't. Well, basically, he was Asian like me, and growing up in Reno, Nevada, like there just weren't that many Asians, so we had to stick together, and I joked that like we could eat our stinky lunches together during lunchtime. It's like a judgment-free zone where like we can eat our lunches and not be like freaked out by like hopefully like the students around us like wouldn't care. But we just felt comfortable with each other, and every summer I would go back to Japan because my mom's Japanese and I visit family, and like Pokemon at the time was very popular. It was invented in Japan, and I bought Pokemon cards one summer, and I ended up getting Zapdos, which is the legendary Thunderbird, and it was like shiny, and I was so excited to get it, and I couldn't wait to go back home and like show all my friends. So I brought it back and showed Glee, and Glee was like, "Whoa, like that's so cool!" And it seemed like extra rare because like it was like Japanese, and like nobody like from Reno, like I'm sitting like to Japan and like got a Zapdos. Like what are the chances, right? And Glee was super excited. He was like, "Wow, like can I borrow it? Can I bring it home and like show my family?" And like my naive 10-year-old self was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Right? You're my friend." So I lent my Zapdos to Glee, and he took it home. And then the next day I'm like, "Hey Glee, like can I have my Zapdos back?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. Like I'll bring it back tomorrow." Tomorrow rolls by, "Hey Glee, where's my Zapdos?" And he's like, oh, dude, I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. I'll bring it next week, right? And you guys, Monday rolls around. Dude, Glee, give me back my Zapdos. And he's like, dude, Stephen, sorry. Like, I lost your Zapdos, right? But here's a Golduck in exchange. At that moment, my world shattered. Like, my legendary, thunderous, Zapdos somehow devolved into Golduck, which I'm not even sure what Golduck is. I think it's like a platypus or something. Right? How can you go from this to this, right? You can imagine. Like, that was my expression when he handed over the Golduck. So I think it's safe to say, Glee betrayed me. He took something that was important to me. I thought we had trust, right? And it's basically say we're humans. I think it's natural for us to betray one another. I have not spoken to Glee ever since then, right? Humans, they're going to betray each other. And, if you think in the historical context, back in 8th century BC, Israel and God's people, they're coming off the golden age of prosperity and, peace, prosperity. They had not seen this in many years. Wine was flowing, the crops were growing. They were very happy. But unfortunately, this prosperity led to a lot of moral decay. And Israel and its people, they began to worship false gods or different idols, just tangible objects. And you might ask, why, if God blesses people with all these fruits, why would they start to look at other gods or other worldly things that are materialistic? And the answer is pretty easy. Things are going well. They didn't need to rely. They thought, it was going to stay that way, and it required less faith. And they seemingly thought that they had more control. If you think of modern times, what are some of the things that we might worship? Money, success, wealth, power. Anything that makes you feel good. Or someone say, a Zapdos card. That might make you feel good, right? So I think sometimes as humans we will step over some people to get to where we want to go. They say you gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet, right? And sometimes as a result we feel pain. We feel betrayed, and as a result we want to seek revenge or self-approved justice. With Glee, after he betrayed me, I was mad. I wished ill will upon him. Whatever third graders think of. I wanted him to fail his tests, or I wanted him to eat a stinky lunch alone. Those types of things. And it's funny, as I was preparing for this message, I actually looked him up. After 20 years, I was I'm curious, So I actually found his LinkedIn profile, and he was smiling, and it almost seemed like 20 years later he's there smirking at me. It made me feel kind of bad, right? But hopefully he kept that card, because I also looked up the value of what that card would be, and it's a pretty penny. So and, I'm only human. I'm going to betray others. Others are going to betray me. It's just a matter of fact, right? It's going to happen, right? But I just want to say that God is not like us, right? He doesn't betray, and he even forgives when he's betrayed. So when we as God creation betray him by thinking that we know how to take care of ourselves better than he can, or rather than just leaving us and being hey, that's cool, I'll just leave you guys to your own will. He actually became one of us through Jesus. He wanted to understand this better. So, even after God made himself human and knowingly was betrayed by us, he still forgave us. after he was mocked, he was spit on, he was beaten up, he was unjustly accused of things that he didn't do. He was condemned to death, forced to carry the cross up a hill, and they nailed him to a cross. Basically like a public display, right, to die. And rather than going after all those people who wronged him, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." This is Luke 23:34. No one says that. No one is unjustly accused of something. And they go to dad and they're like, "Hey, like, it's cool, like, relax, let them kill me," right? But God does, right? He's different. He forgives us. And when God knows that Judas is like basically like the poster child of betrayal, right? He knows that Judas is going to betray him, and rather than like striking him down with lightning, he says, "What you're going to do quickly." John 13:27. And later, he allows Judas to identify him to basically the people who are going to kill him, right? No one in their right mind would do that, but God does, and he did. God has been betrayed repeatedly. One could say, like, betray me once, shame on me, and betray me twice, shame on you, but not God. If you take, for example, Peter, one of Jesus' closest friends, basically Peter denies having ever known Jesus 3 times, right? In Mark 14, 27-31. And rather than becoming bitter and basically denying Peter as one of his followers, he restores him. He trusts him to care for other believers. For me, like, Glee betrayed me once, and I was like, yeah, no more Glee for me, right? I cut ties right then and there. So, I can say that while we can live our lives in rebellion against God, like, rather than condemning us, He provides a way to redeem us. And Jesus loves us to the point where He died for us, for all our wrongdoings, and He conquered death so that those who trust in Him can live in perfect intimacy with Him forever. The idea of betrayal involves a breach of trust, and God knew that we were going to betray Him, yet He sacrificed Himself to redeem us. We can put our full trust in God, right? I know I do. He will never betray us or seek revenge. I don't know anyone as trustworthy as Him. So I truly trust in God, and I hope you can do the same. That's basically betrayal. Please join us next week as we talk about anticipation. And for some discussion questions, I have a couple. So the first one is, describe a time where you were betrayed. How did you feel? And the second question is, can you forgive those that betray you? Thank you.
¿Me ayuda qué? Con mi copa la otra.